Oh, so I went to we went to Poke Serrano yesterday.
Mm.
So this goes back to what I said last week about wanting to tell a story so people get to know us more. So I didn't know what Poke Serrano meant, and we we I said, babe, what does that mean? And I said, well, let's go to Facebook Major League, and she said, I don't understand that reference. I said, Poke Serrano, and it's just the first thing that came to mind. But we went there, and she said, well, it's deconstructed sushi with Serrano peppers. I said, okay, so this is a place for people who are too lazy to roll the sushi. I got it. Okay. So we're ordering our food, and on the menu, you can build your bowl. It's like a
Yeah.
Genghis grill for sushi. You build your bowl, but an
You like pokey
option,
pokey?
yeah. So like an option you have though is you can order egg rolls. And I said, hold up, wait a second. And I asked the guys this after we were done eating, and my wife went to freshen up. I went to the counter to get a to go box, and I said, okay, so I got to ask this. You guys, your entire business plan is predicated on on not rolling sushi, but you will give me an egg roll. And I said, so my impression is that you guys are too lazy to roll the sushi, but egg rolls are just fine. And the guy's answer to
Please
me, I'm
tell me you
not
didn't
kidding,
call
was
them
like,
lazy.
no, I didn't say I didn't call them lazy. I said my impression. So I I, I said, and the guy's response to me said, well, we all of these ingredients are fresh, but the egg rolls are outsourced. So I'm thinking that is a very generous way to say we went to Costco and bought a 68 pack of
Frozen egg
frozen
rolls.
vegetable egg rolls. Oh, folks, we are
Uh,
back again for this week of Box Scores and Bourbon. We will talk about some fun preseason stuff, some ideas. Is it necessary? Manny will take us through that. We are going to go through our last four teams of our Mount Rushmore series so we can wrap up and get to the fun stuff of taking predictions for next week. We will do our fix of six, and we'll talk about what we're drinking this week. This is Box Scores and Bourbon.
Look at the box scores.
Box scores and bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
Baseball, box scores.
so football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box scores and bourbon.
Welcome to the preseason, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of NFL preseason football, where how many games have happened so far? I couldn't tell you because I couldn't care. My point is that the quality of the preseason game is not very good lately, which is emphasized by the fact that I watched 2 games so far in the preseason, both in week 1. I watched the Broncos game against the Colts, where there was a total of 5 turnovers in that game. Then I watched the Cowboys game, where there was another 3 turnovers. And in the Cowboys game, the Cowboys still lost while they still were winning the turnover differential. So I'm just, I've been heartbroken by the fact that preseason football, even though it is before the season and the records and the stats don't matter, it is still supposed to be a source of entertainment for people. And what is being put out on the field is not really on par to what we would expect as football fans and as what we should be expected to pay when it comes to NFL tickets. I understand they're not as expensive, but nonetheless, you are paying for entertainment and the quality is not there. So it begs the question, why do we have preseason football? We have shrunk it down from 4 weeks to 3 weeks. And just this week, before week 2 even wrapped up, we already had head coaches and teams coming out and saying none of the starters were going to play for the following week before they had even played week 2 in some cases, or preseason week 2. They were already saying the starters will not play preseason week 3. So why do we even have all this football when none of the starters are going to play? Really, the competition is not even happening during preseason games. Let's be honest. There is no person that is going into a preseason game that doesn't have a chance to make the starting roster that all of a sudden does make the roster. These competitions are held all through spring training, and they're held all through their joint practices that they're having. There's, for those of you that don't follow this, preseason consists of you meeting up with a fellow team. You practice against them face to face all week long, and you culminate that practice week by having the preseason game against that team. So you're really facing that team all week long, and then we're just throwing in an entertainment factor of a game at the end. That's where the real competition is happening. Those joint practices, training camps, and spring training. So why is it that we keep getting these preseason games and we keep having these arguments that we really do need preseason to be existent for the NFL? If anything, you're just opening the door for more injuries to happen. And I can't list how many players we have already lost during preseason, and including preseason games that are just going to be out for a few weeks, if not for the year. Insert the JJ McCarthy point that I was making last week in the episode. Not only that, if you want to say football players need to get in football shape, I get it. But then what is your argument for college football not having a preseason for football? For those of you that aren't tracking, college football kicks off this weekend. 2 weeks before professional NFL football kicks off, college games will be happening, and those records will matter. And they have not had preseason games. They didn't have any type of 3 weeks of pretending to pretend just so we can play later for the real thing. That is not a thing. So I don't understand what the strong grapple is to keeping the preseason in place when other leagues are already not using it in a way that is still beneficial for them. NBA has preseason, yes, but none of their players really are competing in the preseason. It's more of an exhibition game. That's what they have the summer league for. If you want to do something, have some sort of 3-game summer league for the NFL. That is really more beneficial if you really want to keep the entertainment factor available. And not only that, hear me out on this one, and I think this will be my final point on this argument. Let's just say we get rid of preseason. The collective bargaining agreement has a certain amount of games that the players have negotiated on playing. So let's just start with getting rid of week 3 of the preseason, because right now I'm already disinterested with whatever is going to happen in this next coming few handful of games. Get rid of that game. Add another game of regular season. And Joe Burrow is actually the one that brought this up a few weeks ago, and they kind of just brushed it under the rug because they didn't want to give it any attention. But get rid of the preseason game. Add another game into the regular season. Give every team a universal bye week at some point in the middle where every single team is off at the same time. The second bye week can easily be flexible and fluid and keep it how it is now, where you just it's rotating, and the last 3 weeks everybody finally hits their bye week, and then you extend the season. And the benefit of that, the final cherry on top of that, is that by extending the season 1 week, you would follow that up with playoffs and ultimately the Super Bowl ending on President's Day weekend, which would be a 3-day weekend for most people. Let me tell you this, if you want to be hooked onto the entertainment factor for even the common folk that are going to watch football, if there's a football fan that is lingering on watching the Super Bowl, the fact that they have work the next day is going to be a turnoff for them watching the entire game, because most Super Bowls don't go early and they don't finish early. So if you have it on a 3-day weekend, imagine how many viewers you could gain just by the simple fact that they're already going to be hooked, because the whole country is going to be talking about the Super Bowl. And if they know that they don't have work the next day, the common assumption would be that they might just say, well, I can stay up late and watch this Super Bowl game. And imagine the viewership that you would gain just by having football lined up in such a masterful, poetic, symmetrical form and fashion. So my question to JB, as I bring you back into my monologue and my soapbox, JB, how do you feel about the status of the preseason right now? And how excited would you be for it to land on President's Day weekend if they were to extend the season as the exchange for getting rid of preseason?
It hasn't served a purpose in quite some time. This is the NFL preseason is the equivalent of bowl of a college team going bowling and their best player not playing because he doesn't want to get hurt. This is, I mean, that's all it is. And anything you need, if you need an actual pad on pad to figure out who needs to make your football team, you're doing it wrong. You have joint practices now. You have
Yeah.
you have you have your own a team face-offs with the offense and defense. You can tell.
Your 1 versus 2s.
I mean, like this is you never needed this. It's called practice. I played Pee Wee football. I played JV and varsity football. I never played in college because I decided not to do that. I'm kidding. No,
Right. You
no
could
one was
have
ever-
totally.
I totally could have if I wanted to. Yeah, but throughout my entire life of playing football, we never had. Here's practice. Here's season. But here's a month of time where we're going to play games that mean nothing. Like that's never happened ever. And you're completely right. It makes zero sense to have it. We should get rid of it. College football doesn't have this. They have their spring games. They have their practices. This is what they have. And I mean, granted, college, you get to keep more people. But I mean, like, you should know. You should know who should make your team. You know your team. You're watching it with your eyes. You can see it. I mean,
if you need a game to figure out who needs to make your roster, you need to reassess what type of coach you have in the building, because the coach should be able to see in practice who his starters and who his depth chart is filled with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all on board with anything that gets us to a point in time where the Super Bowl falls already on a 3-day weekend. That would be awesome. No one throws. I mean, there's a reason we have elections on Tuesday, because no one's throwing election parties thinking, "Oh, I can't go to work on Wednesday. I'm too hungover." No, we're watching football. We're watching the greatest sporting spectacle ever given to us as human beings, this side of the gladiators, which we should bring that back, by the way. But like ancient Roman, Greek.
Oh, the ancient. I thought you meant the Gladiators TV show.
The ancient gladiators. That would be awesome.
No.
But we need to being able to celebrate that in this way. And I'll extend it one further. The college football championship needs to be on a Saturday night of NFL playoff weekend. We need to have, like, you could have what better way to bring people in than to have a playoff football, a NFL playoff game, college football, the college football championship game. The next day, more NFL playoffs,
more football.
The script writes itself, and we don't play college football on Monday, so why are we doing this? Same goes for the Super Bowl.
I've never understood that Monday national championship.
It's so
no matter
stupid.
What.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But the same.
Don't get me started on having the semifinals on New Year's Eve. Don't even get me started on that.
That's just completely asinine. But but the same goes for having the Super Bowl on a Sunday, where you have to go to work on a Monday, and it's not only that, like, the Super Bowl's on a Sunday. It starts late. It's late on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have? No, everyone knows when the Super Bowl's happening. We don't need to be like, oh, no one's home until 5 p.m. Eastern, so let's wait. No, started at noon. Started at 12 o'clock. We can have all day to party. Like, it's mind-boggling to me. If you're going to have it on a Sunday where there's no day off built in, start it at 12. Let's have a great time that day. I don't want to sit up and wait until 10:30 Mountain, waiting for Tony Romo's last words after the game's already ended. No, like, let it be done, and let's celebrate. Let's have fun. Let's clean up and go to bed early, whatever. Do what you want, but you spend all day.
Keep the party going. Give people time to party after the Super Bowl, not freaking, okay, let's go to bed. And now, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the fact that every time Super Bowl comes around, the argument is always made for, well, you know what? The U.S. should make Super Bowl Monday a federal holiday so we could be off, when it is 100% in the NFL's control to control that market completely. They see it, and they see it happening. Why are we asking the government to make an extra holiday when the NFL can make more money bring in more viewers, and make it land on a weekend where people are gonna just be able to enjoy it more. It makes too much sense.
2 words for why it hasn't happened yet. Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell knows he is one of the worst sports commissioners of all time. This dude sucks at running a sport. And he knows that his one shot at redemption for having his name plastered on the all-time greatest of NFL anything is if he were to be the one perceived as the one. Roger Goodell did what? He gave us this. He didn't give us anything. We've been asking for it for 20 years now. We've been begging for this. Like all he did was wait until it just got like, oh, it's never going to happen. What? It happened? Thank you, Roger. You're the greatest. Like this is why he's waiting, and he's teasing this, knowing that it's going to happen. But to your point, the preseason needs to go. It absolutely needs to go. It serves no purpose. The player, I mean, like, and I don't mind adding another week to the NFL calendar. That's fine too. But take away the preseason. It's pointless. It serves nothing. All it does is just invite more injuries. Instead of changing the kickoff rule to make it look worse, because you're trying to create more action but prevent injuries at the same time. I don't know how you do that, but there's a law. There's something that's a law of non-contradiction. You can't create more action and prevent more injuries. The more action you have, the more injuries might become prevalent. It's going to happen. So, cut out the preseason. Cut it out.
Yeah,
and then let's just move on with our lives. Let's move on.
You know what? What was a final argument that I forgot to bring up, which also helps with the whole competition aspect of things. And we were talking about this before we started filming. Bo Nix threw 16 passes and won the starting job for the Denver Broncos during preseason.
Yep.
Preseason was so selling of a sample size that he got the starting job. So let's be honest with the fact that Sean Payton was seeing stuff in training camp, and that was why he got the starting job. It was not the preseason exhibition that he had going on for him.
To be fair, Bo Nix, it was toward the end of Bo Nix's first preseason game that Sean Payton was like, oh, he's the man I want. He's the one that's going to lead us to the promised land. But before I get into the completely asinine reasoning behind Sean Payton picking Bo Nix, let's ring us in with a little toast. Cheers, my man. Cheers.
Cheers, JB. Cheers,
clink,
everyone. Are you bringing back a favorite?
I am. I'm bringing back my Glimmerang. Yep.
Okay.
Bringing it back.
That's always good. I am also bringing back my blended Scotch whiskey. 12 years aged. I'm almost done with it.
Little DT. Love it.
Yeah. Finish it before I buy a whole new big bottle, but it's been good.
Getting down with the
I've enjoyed
DT.
it. Yeah. As you can tell, I've enjoyed it.
The Bo Nix decision. So I saw the headline on The Athletic. Sean Payton only needed to see 16 passes from Bo Nix to know that he was his starter. I said another way to say that is Sean Payton only needed to see 1,000 pass attempts from Zach Wilson to know Bo Nix was going to be the Broncos starter. The way this is presented itself is Sean Payton is the guy who's so madly in love with the hot chick but she's got red flags, but he's willing to talk himself into seeing that she's the one for him. Like, this is the way it's being built up. Like, Sean, we all knew the moment you picked Bo Nix with the 12th pick, we all knew that he was going to be your starter, because we also have eyes, and we also know, one, you only signed Zach Wilson so the Russell Wilson jerseys wouldn't go to waste. You can still put number 3 on his back. And you had Jarrett Stidham. I can't explain why Jarrett Stidham is a thing. I don't understand it, but he is still a thing. That we all knew this. You don't need to have flowery language to build this up. Now, I'm not saying Bo Nix has red flags. Like, I mean, Bo Nix was in college for 13 years. He was the Van Wilder of college quarterbacks. He was in there for a while.
Yep.
So he had plenty of
Yep.
time to prove himself.
hmm
And he, out of all the quarterbacks, he might be the most NFL ready because he's
Oh,
already
I
the
think
most
so.
mature. He's the only one old enough to
Yep.
rent a car. So, I mean, him
Yep.
and Spencer Rattler. But, so it's just, but you don't need to sit there and say you only needed 16 passes. No, you only needed to know that your other two quarterbacks are Zach Wilson and Jared Stidham. That's all you needed to know.
Going into the draft, I thought Bo Nix was the most pro-ready quarterback just by watching his time at Oregon. He dominated, and he runs a really good offense. And I know it's probably not justified to be able to say like he runs an offense in college because no quarterback runs their offense in college like they do in the NFL. But the way his mechanics of putting the ball in the places that they should be at the right timing just looked at the level that you would want it to be at the pro level.
Yeah.
So it made the most sense. I'll take it even a step further, and I don't think we've discussed this. I think Bo Nix will actually win Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. All right. I mean, let me see. I'm looking around the league about who can win. I mean, it could be a slew of receivers. I mean, depending on how Arizona uses
Harrison Jr. could be up there.
Who took? Was it Miami took Brian Thomas? I think. So no, Jacksonville took Brian Thomas. Depending on how Jacksonville uses Brian Thomas, I said throughout the outset I thought Brian Thomas was going to be the best receiver in this draft, I still wholeheartedly believe that, and so I mean it's possible. Outside of
a rookie quarterback being set up with a great coach.
Yeah.
When he's at that level of maturity, like just the fact that your quarterback already gives you a leg up if you're average as a rookie.
Yeah.
And if you're set up with a coach that knows like you're the guy that he wants to build an offense around at the level of Sean Payton, like he's set up for success, let's be honest. Out of all the rookie quarterbacks, I feel like he's the one that's the most set up for success.
I mean, out of all the rookie quarterbacks, the ones taken in the first round, I'd say Penix is the most set up for success because
he's not going to play this year.
That's what I'm saying. There's no pressure on this guy. So if he has to come in and he's already behind the top O line, he's got all the weapons in the world. So I mean, Penix is in an extreme situation.
I guess I should caveat
I'm
with
saying
the quarterbacks that are expected to play.
The ones expected to play, yeah, I could see that. And now that the Skins just traded away Jahan Dotson, taking away another weapon from Jaden Daniels. I mean, I'll give it to what's his face running Washington right now, but they are Adam Peters. They're absolutely just building for the future. That's all they're doing. They're just, I mean, they're like, we're not going anywhere, which is great if you're a Washington fan because, that just means you're still in the most underachieving division with the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Giants. And so, I mean, the NFC East and the NFC South are just so bad.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the NFC East, I don't know if I've told you this, that I make a bet with my brother-in-law every year, the Eagles fan.
Mm-hmm.
We make a bet for who wins the division. We've officially stamped our bet this year, and this is the first year we've done. This is our third year doing it. This is the one year that I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm going to win this bet, and it's going to be an awful misery of a season for me if I do lose this bet because the bet was that the losing team has to take a standard like 4x2 flag of the other team and plant it on their front yard from Super Bowl to preseason, the beginning of preseason. So that's going to be an
I can't wait to see you as an Eagles fan. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait. So what's the bet?
It's whoever wins the division between the Eagles and the Cowboys. If neither one of them wins the division,
I've never rooted more for Philly in my life.
Stop it.
I can't wait.
Stop
I'll go to your house every day with a Hurts jersey on. I'll be like, does it hurt yet? Does it? Has it?
So I obviously won last year, and he had to throw a Cowboys party for me. I think I
Mhm.
brought this up in one of the previous episodes. He had to throw a Cowboys themed party for the Cowboys first playoff game,
Yeah.
which ended up being an actual funeral for me because the first playoff game was against the Packers. So that was not a very fun party for me to
Yeah.
to
How was
have.
that sticker? How was that decal on your truck for
That's the one. That's the
six,
one that
seven
caused
months?
now that I think about it, I've been on the losing end on a lot of my sports bets lately. I need to stay away
Yeah.
from Vegas probably.
You need to stay away from Dallas. That's what you need to stay away from. I think that's the lesson we're learning here. Kids, if you're
Yeah.
listening, don't be a Cowboys fan. Yeah. It only invites
this year.
disappointment. Yep.
If you want mediocrity and disappointment this year, be a Cowboys fan.
You want disappointment? Meet your heroes. Be a Cowboys fan. There you go. It's the two immediate ways you will experience
Yeah.
disappointment.
Hey, speaking of Cowboys fan and kind of tying it all together, we've had a lot of wide receivers that are finally getting contracts, and CeeDee Lamb has not gotten a contract yet, and he's not at training camp. 2 weeks away from the regular.
He's not
season.
doing a hold in like Jordan.
No,
Jordan Love Me Lots did in
No.
Green Bay.
nope, he's not doing that. And you know what? The crazier, I'm concerned that CeeDee Lamb is not with the team yet because like he hasn't been at training camp either. So you're asking to get injured if you do like get a contract now because
Yep.
he's probably going to play week 1 and your
Mhm.
body's not going to be
No.
used to the hit. So you're just
Not-
begging to get an injury.
Yeah.
But the one that I'm actually curious about is the Jamar Chase contract situation that we have going on. Have you been keeping tabs on that one?
Vaguely. Not so much. Why don't you spin us up on it?
Well, the thing is that there's not much going on with the contract because Jamar Chase has 2 years left on his deal.
Well, that's
So
right, he
he's
does.
asking for a new.
Yeah.
He has 2 years left on his contract, and he's asking for a new contract. Which there's an argument to be made. Like
Yeah.
he's making like $4 or $5 million a year as one of the top receivers this year under this contract, but he's 2 years out from needing to resign. Like
Honestly,
it just seems early.
you know, this I'm gonna look at it from another perspective. This is incredibly foolish by Jamar Chase because if the Bengals do what I believe the Bengals will do this year, which is I think they will blow up the league, and they will absolutely make some noise. And if they end up going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl, if Jamar Chase already has that money, Cincinnati's like, we already paid you, bro. We're not giving you more. Like, and look, I don't see anything in Jamar Chase's game where, like, you know, you wouldn't give him that money. I just don't. Like,
No, you wouldn't.
Like he's gonna get paid, but it's just it seems like a really odd move to push for
It does.
now.
In like a very counteractive way to what we're used to, because at the same time it also behooves the Bengals to sign him this year.
Mhm.
Like it's like a win-win situation,
Yeah.
but both sides have a lot
Yeah.
to lose. Because if you don't sign him this year, you know for a fact he's going to be more expensive next year because he's going to just the contracts every year go up exponentially or whatever. You're bound to have to pay him more next year, no matter what happens, compared to paying him this year.
The
So
only
they
reason,
have a lot to lose.
The only reason I could see the argument for Jamar and wanting his contract now is he's seeing how Cincinnati's treating T. Higgins right now. T. Higgins has a year left. He hasn't been paid yet. And maybe this is a sign. Look, if I'm Jamar, if I'm Cincinnati, I'm looking at this gesture from Jamar as saying, "Hey, I want to stay in Cincinnati. I want to be here. I want to be
But 2
here
years,
with Joe. Like, sign me. You know, I want to be here. I want to focus more on just the product on the field. You know, I don't want to be having to worry about, you know, all this and that. So honestly, I can see it. And maybe there's a part of Jamar Chase understands, you know, if we do blow it up this year, you know, and then, you know, maybe I risk leaving, I don't know, 10 mil, 15 mil on the table. But I mean, judging by what his brother from another mother got and what Justin Jefferson got, I mean, I'm like, I'll take it. Yeah, you want to give it to me? Give it to me. I'll take it.
28 million. That's fine.
That's
Chump
fine.
change.
I will play for pennies if that's what you're gonna offer me. Okay, I'll play for pennies. So
You insist.
yeah. So, but which just goes to show it's just how ridiculous it is how contracts have gotten. It's just
Yes.
absolutely insane.
Mhm.
So
So how do you feel about? So there's like players tend to not like this. I don't understand why they hate this, but players have something against negotiating contracts throughout the season, like while the season is happening. They say they want to focus on football. But my thinking has always been like you're not the one that's sitting at the table. Like your agent will call you when he
yeah,
has a deal that suits what he knows you
yeah,
want. Like you have a conversation with him,
yeah,
let him negotiate it all year. But this like stands like, no, I will not negotiate once the season
yeah,
starts. Like that's always been weird to me.
yeah. No, I can. I could see why you wouldn't. It just adds a level of distraction that you just don't want. Like, I mean, like it already takes so much to prepare each week to play a game. You're playing a different opponent every week, and even if it's the same one, it's at a different location. So I mean, there's so much that goes into it. You don't want to be bothered by it, and the more and the further you're removed from knowing whether or not we're not going to talk about it this year, the better off you'll be being able to move on and focus on just the play on the field. I mean, I
Yeah.
can absolutely see it. I
But
do.
like in Jamar Chase's situation, like he has 2 years on his contract. He's not like, oh, I'm on my last year. I don't want to talk about it. Like and this is me saying this without knowing if he has a stance of I'm not going to play and I don't want to talk about it during the regular
Yeah.
season. But why not be there and just put the message of, hey, the team and I
Yeah.
are having discussions for an extension at this time because we think it's the right time. That's it. Like, is it
Yeah.
even if it goes into the season, play.
Mhm.
You're still making good money. I understand you're not the highest paid or whatever, but you're still
Yeah.
going to make good money this year.
Mhm.
You're going to help your team. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out, you're only going to make your contract every single week you're out there overperforming your current contract. You're only going
Yeah.
to make your contract more and more valuable. That's my thing with, especially in Chase's situation.
Yeah. No, and I'll just go back to my original point. I honestly think it's better for both sides. Like the less of it becomes a big distraction even when it's time to talk about it. And if it's not happening, then why are we talking about it? It's not going to happen. Let's not talk about it. Let's just let's just you get paid by us. We enjoy getting what we can out of you for what we're paying. You go out there and earn that paycheck. And honestly, I mean that's what it comes down to too. Is I mean these are grown men. If you don't have that personality in you to be that dog to go out there and to fight and earn your keep. And I don't want you on my team anyway. Like if you're gonna be so concerned about being playing playing on a dead contract, then all right, well then leave. Honestly, the game's not that important to you, and I get you want security. I understand that, but we're all trying to protect ourselves here. None of the system is perfect. I tend to agree with the team on this one. It's like, well, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
Yeah.
So
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with the point you're making about the distraction. Like you said, these are grown men. Like any typical like middle America worker has more than one tough situation going on at once that we all
yeah,
have to handle.
yeah,
And the double issues that these professional football players are handling is I have to go play a kids game while
Mhm.
also talking about making hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the drama that you can't handle at the same time.
yeah. And on top of it, you don't have to play anything. You choose to play this kids game.
Right.
You choose to
Exactly.
play it. This
Like
is your choice. No one
yeah.
as much as Colin Kaepernick likes to say this is the new slave trade, it's not. Okay, these men get paid
Because
handsomely to play a game that they fought their entire life to play for. Okay, some of
mhm,
these dudes have fought to play this game to get out of the situations they were in order to
yeah.
make a living for themselves and their
Right.
families.
Yeah.
So I mean, they absolutely get the opportunity, the privilege of being able to play a game that they love. And so yeah, exactly. I mean, and just because if I'm a team, I'm like, if this is your greatest distraction in life, you have a pretty good life. You're already
Yes,
getting paid millions of dollars, and you're distracted because you're not getting more millions of dollars to play this game that you fought to play for, and you earned your keep in already, and you still
Yeah.
get to go play it. And yet, this
Yeah.
is your biggest distraction. I wish I had your life. I wish that was my
Yeah.
life.
Tell your suffer story to the single divorced dad that has 2 kids and has to balance
Yeah,
the dropping off the kids while working 2 jobs, paying
yeah,
a mortgage, and
mhm,
paying child support with
yeah,
minimum wage
mhm,
across the board. Like, come on now,
yeah,
really? Like,
yeah,
I don't want the argument of I don't want the distraction always blows my mind for that reason.
yeah,
Like, that's not a distraction, and you're paying somebody to do
yeah.
that work for the one distraction you're paying somebody to handle. What distraction do you have?
It's just completely, it falls flat on this face. Like anytime someone's like, okay, whatever, I got no time for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I can see Jamar wanting to use this to try to avoid what's happening with T. Higgins. It's not going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. If I'm Cincinnati and I believe in the team, maybe I do it, because if they end up just blowing up the league, then all right, good luck giving them Tyreek Hill money next year. Good luck.
30.
Good luck him settling for $30 million a year. Good luck with that. Yeah.
That'll be the lowest you can get him if you get him
Yeah.
low,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy
Yeah.
to think about. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
God forbid your first world problems, professional athletes. I'm sorry that you're going through such hard times.
I don't know how you get out of bed in the morning. I don't know how you do it. It must be real tough. It must be hard.
Oh man! Speaking of football players, JB, we
Yes.
have our last 2 respective teams for each of us to do Mount Rushmores and
Yep.
schedule analysis.
Yes, we do. Yes.
It is time to wrap up our Mount Rushmore series. Yes, I know you all loved it. It's your second favorite segment after your fix of 6. I get it, but
Sadness all
everything
around.
good has to come to an end.
Yep. We can do our obligatory, a hug at the end of Friends and Mary Tyler Moore after we're all done with this, and we can share feelings and Kleenexes, but there's business to tend to. Okay, kiddies.
Yes,
There's business to tend to. So let's do
right.
this.
Let's do this. JB, do you want to go first? Do you want me to spin the wheel for your first team? Because if I wasn't clear enough, we both are going to do 2
Yes.
teams today.
I will go first. Yes.
Okay. Let's spin the wheel for you. Oh,
That is bullcrap, and I demand
that's the
a
wrong. That's
I
the
demand a
wrong. I
respin.
opened the wrong. There you go. I opened the wrong page. All right, JB. Give me your first number.
Give me number 23.
Hang on, let me look at the list of 23s. 23 gives you the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, / Baltimore Colts. Baltimore / Indianapolis.
Oh, yes.
Because and I have to include that because there is one player who was a Baltimore Colt. So, and I think we all.
Well, they have a big history in the Baltimore side, so
They do.
yes.
They do. Yeah. Number 1, first and foremost. Anthony Richardson. No, it is Johnny Unitas. Johnny Football himself. I absolutely the top of the mountain. He's on the Mount Rushmore. He takes the place of the president with the tallest hair. So that way it looks like he is the most number 1. Number 2, a man who has no hair. Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is number 2.
He has some hair.
He's got less hair than Johnny Unitas. So we'll do Peyton Manning. Number
Sure.
3, I could pick 2 receivers to fill this out, but I'm going to go with the one that really just stood out the most during that time, and that's Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison's number 3. That dude balled out, and even to this day, we're still like, how did that man do it being so tiny? So,
Mhm.
I'm kidding. He wasn't tiny, but uh, he was just he was that guy who was everywhere. He had like an
Yeah. He
80-inch
was always
vertical.
there.
He was always there catching the ball. He did everything, and he was a receiver well before his time. And then number 4, I could go Reggie Wayne here, but I already did a receiver from that time, so I'm going to do a defensive player from that Peyton era, and that's Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney
Oh,
was one
okay.
of the most feared defensive players there was during that time. And it's even to the point now where he was so versatile too. And Dwight Freeney he's one of the examples of today's today's edge rushers, pass rushers,
Mhm.
that we went from just being a defensive end to being a pass rusher, and that to an edge rusher. Like you could be outside linebacker, you can be D end, whatever it is. Dwight Freeney did it all. He was formidable. He put fear in the eyes of the quarterbacks that he smushed. So these are the 4 I'm going to go with. I'm going with Johnny Football. I'm going with Peyton. I'm going with Marvin Harrison Sr. I got to say Senior now, and then
Yes.
Mr. Dwight Freeney himself.
My question to you is: you said you were between 2 receivers. Who was the honorable mention on that?
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fair. I was more curious than anything else. But why do you have something against putting 2 receivers on there when you put 2 quarterbacks on there?
I don't have anything against it. What I'm saying is that because Peyton and Reggie and Marvin and Freeney all played at the same time, they all got their fair share. But in order to shed some light on another position grouping, and I don't think there's not much daylight between Dwight Freeney and Reggie Wayne. I think
No.
they both excelled at their positions for a really long time. And it was very helpful for Reggie Wayne to have Marvin Harrison on the other side of the line of scrimmage, because
Yeah.
you can't double team both of them. Someone's going to be left open. So that
Rush 3
was
guys, you could double team
yeah
both of them.
yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. I can't complain about any of those. Would you, if you had to rank, uh, would Peyton Manning be number 1?
Would Peyton Manning be number 1?
If you had to rank him and Johnny Unitas.
Um,
I know. This is not atypical, but I'm just curious. Who, if you had to put one, 2?
I I'd say Peyton 1, Johnny
Okay.
number 2. Um, but it's hard too because Johnny was one of those guys that transformed the way that quarterbacks played football for the quarterbacks that came after him.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
this dude uh, would undoubtedly play with a broken nose just to be able to go out there in the field and play again. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so and we still talk about him today. We still talk
Yep.
about Johnny Unitas and the impact he had on the game. This dude was just he was one of the most fearless players of his time. This dude
Mm-hmm.
was exceptional at his craft, and he was exceptional at his craft during a time when I mean, like quarterbacks just didn't do the things he did on a regular basis. So,
That's true.
but
And
yeah,
solidifying that argument, I don't know however you want to look at this, but Peyton Manning more than once used Johnny Unitas as the example of who he kind of idolized and mirrored his game around in a
yeah,
way. So there's that.
yeah.
All right,
So,
my turn.
your
Ready?
turn. Go.
All right, JB, my number is number 6.
Your number is number 6.
Yes, it
You,
is.
my friend, have the Arizona Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals. The easiest one, with no arguments, is Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
No explanation necessary. Number 2, Kurt Warner. I would have to go with Kurt Warner, leading them to the most recent and I think only Super Bowl appearance, unless there was some weird thing in the 40s and 30s with the names or whatever. But Kurt Warner. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Pat Tillman.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
I get confirmation from JB.
That's right. You
Yes,
did.
Pat Tillman was a great Cardinal and decided to leave football to pursue a military service career, in which ended up being the end of his passed away in Afghanistan during the time
Yeah.
that he was in the army, or a Green Beret, right? He was a Green Beret.
Mhm.
And lastly, I will have to go with Dan Dierdorf.
Dan
I
Dierdorf.
know. Yes,
Wow.
I
Mr.
know.
Dandruff himself.
Mr. Dan Dandruff himself. I know you have this assumption that I don't like putting linemen in
I
my
have this assumption because you've said I can't put offensive linemen in my
no. I never said I will not.
Mount
I said
Rushmore.
it's hard for me. So those are my 4. That's gonna
Okay.
be Fitzgerald, Tillman, Warner, and Mr. Dandruff. All due
Okay.
respect to Mr.
Dandruff
Not mad.
himself. All right.
Dandruff himself.
Okay.
All right. You ready for your next one?
I am ready for my next one.
All right. Let's get your wheel going. All right, JB. What is the second number of yours?
Number 28.
28 gets you, as if it was done on purpose, the
Written in
last
the
team that
stars.
you will be building the Mount Rushmore for will be your almighty Saints.
Yes. New
And this was
Orleans
not
Saints.
done on purpose. I promise
New
you, this was not done on
Saints.
purpose.
Oh, yeah, believe me, it was not. No. Every week, every team has been chosen at random with a
Yes.
random team assigned a random number.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay. Okay. This is hard. Because
Is it?
everyone who's put on that uniform is the greatest of all time, probably in the game of football. Let's see.
I could name 2 of yours that I would just be disappointed if you don't put there.
Number 1, I will go with Mr. Face Birthmark himself, Drew Brees.
Oh, God. Leave him alone.
He's going number 1
Drew Brees himself.
for obvious reasons. Number 2, I will go with I'll go with Willie Roaf, one of the greatest offensive linemen to ever play the game. This dude was an absolute staple. He was an absolute force to be dealt with. I dare any D lineman to get past this man. This man was one of the greatest to ever do it. Willie Roaf is number 2. Number 3.
Okay.
And he is going to stand in for an entire group of players. At number 3, representing the Dome Patrol, is Mr. Ricky Jackson. Mr. Ricky Jackson, combined with Vaughn Johnson, Sam Mills, Pat Swilling, those 4 created some of the most fearsome defensive play ever to walk any football turf or field that there
The
ever was.
fiercest bounty gate ever.
No, there wasn't a bounty gate. This was
No,
in the
just kidding.
80s. So it's before you were born,
I just had to
son.
make a jab at the Saints.
Son. So Ricky Jackson, who was undoubtedly the most feared out of the four of them, which is an understatement given just how feared the rest of them were too.
hmm
And if I'm not mistaken, Sam Mills and Pat Swilling both were picked up by the Saints out of the first time the USFL became defunct. So they both went to the Saints. Vaughn Johnson was drafted, and Ricky Jackson was drafted like several years before that, I think.
That
And
is
then
great recruit scouting.
yeah, it is. Number 4 is a man near and dear to my heart who has yet to win a Super Bowl with his team. And I truly hope he is with the team long enough before they win it again. That's Mr. Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan is probably my favorite Saint of all time. That man plays football with such intensity, and he's such a good dude. He's such a good dude, and
Such a happy guy.
He's got the best smile in the world, and he just goes out there and he smiles every day, knowing full well he's got to play for the Saints. And in the words of Daryl from The Office, I don't have the strength to be you. I don't have that strength. You Braveheart. Cam Jordan is Braveheart because he has to wake up every day full well knowing he's got to play defensive end for the New Orleans Saints. And he still smiles. So that is JB's Mount Rushmore for the New Orleans Saints.
So no Sean Payton.
No Sean Payton. No.
Wow. That's
No
like
Sean Payton.
That's like a confident no, huh? No Sean Payton for
No
sure.
Sean Payton. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is interesting. All right. Well. All right. Let's roll for me. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right, JB. My second number is 26.
26. You, my friend, as if it was written in the stars. You get to pick your second favorite team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles.
No.
Go for it. Make every Cowboy fan out there proud.
Let me flip.
And let me
around.
say this: you
Okay.
have to do this with utmost integrity. Okay, do not be slandering a franchise. Okay, don't be putting Nick Foles in there just because you
Nick
think
Foles, number 1.
Don't be putting Andy Reid in there and Don McNabb and T.O. because you think it's funny. Okay.
What do you have against me possibly putting Andy
There
Reid
is
in there?
one guy that I could argue should be in there.
Okay. Well, let me do my list, and then you can argue all you want. Number 1 has to be Donovan McNabb. I do love me a good quarterback, and Donovan McNabb was a great quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, so I have to put him there. Number 2, the Minister of Defense himself.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Was that your argument, Reggie White?
No, it wasn't Reggie White. No, I was just I was afraid you weren't going to put him on there.
Why not? He's one of the greatest, I would say, greatest defensive players ever. Not lineman, no specific greatest defensive player ever.
Okay.
Number 3, I'll have to put Brian Dawkins on there.
Okay.
Mr. Weapon X. Okay. And number 4, are you ready for the controversy?
Yeah, you've already said the controversy, but go on, continue with more.
I am ready, at this moment in time to say Jason Kelsey should be on
Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
4 months after he retired, he's already a Mount Rushmore. As
Yeah.
well, Dawkins and Kelsey both like really epitomize the type of like personality that is tied to Philadelphia and the teams in Philly, like the
Yeah.
toughness and the grittiness. The I don't give an F about anything. I'm gonna be angry about stuff and just play tough the entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my four. What is
Okay.
your argument? What is your
My
gripe?
argument is Donovan McNabb. Um, I know he had his time. I remember watching Donovan McNabb, and he was a good quarterback in Philly. And
Well, that's what I'm doing. It's
he had his
talking about. I'm not
moments.
saying NFL Mount Rushmore. I'm saying Philly.
Yeah, but no, there. But I mean, I wouldn't. There is one guy that I thought you would put. That I thought you
Interesting.
would, but he's a tad older than you. He's just a twinge older than me. He's 99. But Chuck Bednarik, the dude played center and linebacker all game. Like the dude never took a snap off. And it just, and honestly, like I probably would have put him in there because I don't know, that grit and that durability, this is that blue collar sense that Philly prides itself on, which
Yeah.
is why it boos Santa Claus, because Santa works one day a year, and he's like, you're a welfare monster, Santa, get out of here. So,
Would you put him instead of McNabb? Is that what you're saying?
I would, yeah, I would have, but Brian Dawkins, absolutely, the dude spoke parcel tongue to footballs. So I mean, anytime, any, and like just the stories from Brian Dawkins, like who was it? Was
I've
it?
never heard any of the stories of him
I
besides just
forgot.
like his play as a player.
I forgot who it was that he was talking to. Um, God, I wish I could remember. Um, but it was one of the one of the most infamous stories where there is like NFL films or whatever. They're interviewing an ex Philly defensive player, and he was one of the top ones. It was a linebacker, but I can't remember who it was. But he told the story how Brian Dawkins said he said I want to put he said I want to it's something like I want to end his life, and he's like what? He's like, I want to put the fear of God in him. And he was just like, who is this guy? And then the next play, I don't know who it was, but Dawkins just lays into him. Just lays
Yeah.
into him. And he ends up like he just gets up and he's like, praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. And it
That
was
was him
just,
putting the fears out of him.
I mean, I was just like, oh man, like this man is one of my favorite people of all time. Like I just like every game, like I wish we mic'd players up during his time. I wish he
Yeah.
was mic'd up when he's telling guys, I want to put the fear of God in him.
I should honestly reconsider the Jason Kelsey pick because there was a freaking post that came out of him, and he's acquired himself a Tesla Cybertruck, and they were filming it for him, and he
Yeah.
goes to the little corner, and he freaking points out his stupid little sticker where he has what's his name freaking peeing on the Cowboy star for no reason. He just pointed that out. To this day, he's retired and
Good.
long gone. He's freaking peeing on the Cowboys on his freaking truck.
Who, T.O.? Is that what it is?
No. What was the name of the cartoon, like the old comic with it was like little kid and the
Oh, that
tiger?
little the brat in the prison shirt. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Anyways, so
isn't
yeah,
that
he just
Calvin and Hobbes? Is that what it is?
there we go, Calvin and
Yeah.
Hobbes. Yeah. So
Okay.
he had Calvin peeing on freaking the Cowboy star on his $100,000 freaking Tesla truck.
That's a good man. That is Mount
Disrespectful.
Rushmore worthy. Yeah. Yeah, Mount Rushmore worthy. All right, let's get into schedule breakdowns.
Okay. Let's open these schedules. And we shall start with your Indianapolis Colts first.
Yes.
Okay, ready. Week 1, host the Texans.
Ooh, week 1. Who is this? The Colts host the Texans.
Yes. Yes.
Shoot. I'm gonna give the Texans the win.
Okay. Week 2, they visit the Packers.
L.
Week 3, they host the Bears.
W.
Week 4, they visit the Steelers.
W.
Week 5, they No, I said that wrong. They host the Steelers, if that makes a difference in your pick.
It doesn't. It's still the Steelers.
Okay. Week 5, they visit the Jaguars.
W.
Week 6, they visit the Titans.
W.
Week 7, they host the Dolphins.
L.
Week 8, they visit the Texans for the rematch.
W.
Week 9, they visit the Vikings.
W.
Week 10, they host the Bills.
L.
Week 11, they visit the Jets.
L.
Week 12, they host the Lions.
L.
Week 13, they visit the Patriots.
Is Brady playing? W.
Week 14 is a bye week, and they'll win that. And week
Bye
15,
weekend.
they
Week
visit
14. Holy crap.
Yeah, they have like the lot. I think week 14 is the latest point they'll give a bye week.
They're going to think they had it already. Oh, we get 2? Cool.
Trust me, their bodies will feel like they have not had a bye week. Week 15, they visit the Broncos.
W.
Week 16, rematch, and they host the Titans.
W.
Week 17, they visit the Giants.
Gosh. This is still a team. W.
And they finish the season hosting the Jaguars.
I'll give them an L. And then I'll give them an L on week 6 when they play the Titans. 1, 2,
Are they going to
3.
sweep the Titans?
No. I give the Colts an L. 1, 2,
Oh.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 8. Not
Yeah.
bad. And honestly, like if I'm a Colts fan, this is great news because all I'm hoping for is Anthony Richardson stays healthy. That's it. So like, and I have every faith that Shane Steichen's going to do stuff in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
That's going to shake up because Shane Steichen was with Nick Sirianni, and that offense was not stale. And then Steichen leaves, and then the offense is stale. So Shane Steichen's absolutely the reason why the Eagles had the success they did during the Sirianni era, and he's going to take that to Indianapolis. And if Anthony Richardson can stay on the field, this is going to be something special. He's going to be special. So
if he can stay healthy, he just runs so aggressive. He needs to learn how to be careful.
He does. Well, I mean, and that's why they loaded him. They got Michael Pittman to an extension. They got Josh Downs, who showed immense, tremendous strides last year. They drafted Adonai Mitchell, who I thought was the better receiver at Texas over Xavier Worthy. You have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. They have weapons. They have
They
weapons
do.
galore surrounding this young
Yeah.
man. So, and Richardson's only 22.
I
So,
know.
if he can stay healthy, man, it's a big if sometimes. But if he can stay healthy, this is why I'm so big on Indianapolis, man. You keep saying, I don't know why you're big on the Colts. I don't know why you keep this. This is why.
No,
This is
I've never
why.
said that about. I said that about the Titans, not the Colts.
I'm not big on the Titans. I'm big on the Colts.
Well, I'm not. I've never hated on the Colts. Run it back. I want to see where I've hated on the Colts. Comment section. Tell me. Tell me.
Here it is. I'm playing
Tell
it for you right now. Did you hear it? Okay. All right. I hate the Colts. See, you just said it again.
Oh, yeah,
All
that's
right.
all.
Let's do you now. Let's do the Arizona Cardinals.
The Cardinals of the Arizona type, not the St. Louis type.
Yeah. Week 1 at Buffalo.
Loss.
Okay.
Actually, no, win.
Win? Wow. Okay.
Yes, Buffalo will be figuring stuff out post Diggs era.
Yeah, they'll be figuring out what wins. Like, oh, this is what it feels like to win.
They'll just need to figure out their offense.
Week 2, host the Rams.
Loss.
Okay. Week 3, host Detroit.
Loss.
Okay. Week 4, host Washington.
Win.
Okay. Week 5 at San Francisco.
Loss.
Okay. Week 6 at Green Bay.
Loss.
Okay. Week 7, they host the Chargers.
Ooh, win.
Okay. Week 8, they are at Miami.
Ooh. Loss. As much as I dislike Miami right now.
Week 9, they host Chicago.
Win.
Okay. Week 10, they host the Jets.
Sneaky pick. I'm going to say loss for the Cardinals.
Okay. Week 11, they are on a bye week. Week 14, they are at Seattle.
We went from 11 to 14.
I'm sorry, week 12, they're at Seattle.
Oh, okay. I'll give the Cardinals the win.
Okay. Week 13, they are at Minnesota.
Cardinals the win.
Okay. Week 14, they host Seattle.
I want to say they sweep Seattle.
Okay. Week 15, they host New England.
Win.
Okay. Week 16, they are at Carolina.
Win.
Week 17, they are at the Rams.
Loss.
They close out hosting San Fran.
Yeah, that's a loss.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 8.
That's
Not bad.
so. Here's how I think it'll be going. I think the Arizona Cardinals will actually be in the playoff hunt up until that last 3-game stretch, and then they'll fall right out and they'll completely be disheartened. But they'll be optimistic about Murray being the quarterback and their coach being there. So
Okay.
9-8 will be progress for them.
Okay.
Let's review your New Orleans Saints.
How dare you mispronounce it? Jeez. Don't be
As
ignorant.
far as I know, that's the right pronunciation.
New Orleans.
I need someone from New Orleans to
New
tell me
Orleans.
properly.
New
I see
Orleans.
somebody.
There you go. I just did it for
All
you
right,
3
week
times.
1.
All right, go ahead.
Week 1, they host the Panthers.
Win.
Week 2, they visit Dallas. You watch your mouth. As much as
L.
you want to hate Dallas.
L.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Week 3, they host the Eagles.
W.
Week 4, they visit Atlanta.
W.
Week 5, they visit the Chiefs. JB.
L.
Okay.
I was thinking about the pass rush. Go ahead.
Okay. Week 6, they host the Buccaneers.
L.
Week 7, they host the Broncos. The Bo Nix led Broncos.
Not only that, Sean Payton's returning to New Orleans.
That's true.
W.
Week 8, they visit the Chargers.
W.
Week 9, they visit the Panthers.
W.
Week 10, they host the Falcons the second time around.
L.
Week 11, they host the Browns.
W.
Week 12 is their bye week. Week 13, they host the Rams.
L.
Week 14, they visit the Giants.
I almost want to put an L here. You know what? I will. Because the Saints play down to everybody. I'm putting an L.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Week 15, they host the Washington Commanders.
W.
Week 16, they visit the Packers.
L.
Week 17, they host the Raiders.
That is going to be an L.
And they finish the season visiting the Buccaneers.
W. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So also 9-8.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And I got to tell you, if they go into the bye week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 and 4, blow it up. So you know what?
Do you
Just
think
blow it
they'll
up.
fire the coach this season?
Just blow it up anyway. Okay. Just like be for all I care, be 11-0 and blow it up. Okay. Let's just blow it the whole thing up. Come on. What are we doing?
You said that you gave them a winning record again, which in this era would give them possibly the division at 9-8, and you want them to
No,
blow it up
because
no matter what.
Atlanta should run away with this division. And again, if they don't, Raheem Morris never ever deserves another head coaching position ever for the rest of his life. This dude has been put in a position to succeed. Not only did they go and get a decent pass rusher in Judon, but they also signed Justin Simmons. Okay? This dude is set up to succeed. They just extended Armstead at one of the corner positions. This dude is set up to succeed. If they don't run away with this division, I'm sorry. You were just bad at coaching.
Well, we're talking about the Saints currently, and you're saying even 11-0, blow it up. So you have
Let's blow
zero
it up.
hope for the Saints.
Just please.
But you still give them a winning record. That's my
I'm Old Yeller without Saints are Old Yeller without rabies. Okay, just go out there. I'm Old Yeller without rabies. Okay, just put me out of my misery. Okay, take me on the back and just shoot me in the head. Okay, just do that. All right, just please, just end it. Just end it.
What
All
do
right.
you think? So, quick question for you: what record do you think your coach has to have for him to save his job this year?
Even if they win the Super Bowl, fire him. Okay, just get rid of him. All right. Look, I don't. I'm sorry. I've seen too much. I have zero. Like, is Belichick coming back? That'd be great. Let's bring him in. Is Jim Morris still alive?
Man, that's funny.
Yeah, I hear
Bring
Mike
Parcells back.
Ditka's looking for some rehabilitation. Let him walk the sidelines again. Let's put a tuxedo back on him. All right.
Oh, all right. Give me my schedule for the
You,
Eagles.
you can never sit there and tell me I am not an objective fan. Okay, I'm as
No, you
objective
are.
as they come.
Baseball is a whole nother story, but football, yeah, you're objective.
Oh, I'm very objective with the Cubs. They suck. Blow it up. Okay, so I told you, week number 1, they host Green Bay.
Ooh, I was not tracking that as a week 1 game. That's a must-watch TV right there. Green Bay wins.
Green Bay wins. Okay. Week 2, host Atlanta.
Win for the Eagles.
Okay. Week 3 at New Orleans.
I think the Eagles will win.
Okay. So do I. Okay. No, I thought the Saints would win. Never mind. Okay. Week 4, they're at Tampa.
The Eagles will win.
Okay.
They'll get their rematch in the playoffs.
Week 5, they have their bye week. They have their bye week in September. Or first
they're
week
definitely
October.
going to fall
Good
apart.
Lord. Jeez. Week
God.
6, they host Cleveland.
Loss for the Eagles.
Okay. Week 7, they are at the Giants.
Win.
Okay. Week 8, they are at Cincy.
Loss.
Okay. Week 9, they host Jacksonville, the most hated team in
Win.
your eyes. Okay.
No, the Raiders still exist.
Week 10, they are at Dallas.
At Dallas,
Yeah.
that means that the Eagles will win.
Okay. Week 11, they host Washington.
Win for the Eagles.
Okay. Week 12, they are at the Rams.
Win for the Eagles.
Okay. Week 13, they're at Baltimore.
Loss for the Eagles.
Okay. Week 14, they host Carolina.
Win.
Okay. Week 15, they host Pittsburgh.
Win.
Okay. Week 16, they are at Washington.
Win.
Week 12, they host Dallas.
That they'll lose.
Okay. And week 18, trap game, they host the Giants.
They'll win that even if they rest their starters.
Okay.
So that puts them at what?
1,
12
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 and 5. That's an Eagles record.
You know what's crazy? I remember what I chose for the Cowboys, and I specifically remember that the record on my prediction was 11-6 for the Cowboys. That means that the Eagles, by those standards, would win the division, and that my bet would have me flying an Eagles flag in my front yard.
There you go.
Which is a sad reality.
It's a fun reality for me.
Oh man, even I can't be optimistic about this season.
All right.
That does it. That wraps up our schedule analysis and our Mount Rushmores this year.
That's right. That is correct.
Do you like having to build Mount Rushmores on the fly?
I do. It's fun. I'm glad we don't have to do it next year because we've already done it. So
yeah, we can't unless we build like the last year Mount Rushmore, but whatever. Yeah, that was interesting. It challenges the way you view players.
It does. Yeah.
Especially with you being such an old school minded person and me being more of a recency bias kind of guy. So
yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Who did you picked? You picked Brian Dawkins, Reggie White, Donovan McNabb, and who else?
Brian Dawkins, Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey, that was it. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get to everyone's favorite segment. JB and Manny's Fix of
Heck
Six.
to the yes.
Manny, kick us off.
All right. On today's episode of Your Fix of Six, I've got on number 3, Jim Harbaugh offered Colin Kaepernick, his old quarterback from the 49ers, a coaching job with his team. And as far as everything that I've seen, Kaepernick said thanks, but no thanks. So there's two sides to this story. Something must still be good about Kaepernick that Jim Harbaugh still believes in him. And two, Kaepernick, you're really stuck so hard in your ways that you're going to say no to a coaching job because you're still good enough to be a player 7 years later. I must have missed something. I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm missing something.
Yes, you are. You are missing a lot. There's a lot.
Number 2, Tua Tagovailoa came out and bashed Brian Flores like no other this week,
This was the
calling
best.
him as far as I could understand his statement, the antichrist of positive reinforcement when it came to player development. Tua came out here and freaking said he was being told every single day he was the worst quarterback in the league. He didn't deserve to have a starting quarterback job. And then Brian Flores, the one thing I want to give credit to, Brian Flores took a very good stance, and he took like the high road approach to this, and he just said it hurt him to hear it. He didn't confirm, deny, or fight anything that was said. He just said it drives me to be a better coach and a better person day to day. So kudos to you, Flores, for taking a better stance. I don't know. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, practice some positive reinforcement with your players with the Steelers right now, and maybe you won't have drama coming your way. And number 1 on Manny's Fix of 6, Happy Gilmore 2.0 has been announced, with Travis Kelsey being in the star lineup of actors. JB, how do you feel about Happy Gilmore coming back?
Um, I don't know. I don't know what else there is to tell with this story. I mean, he already got Chubbs' eye. He killed Chubbs. Is Happy Gilmore Chubbs now? Is he
I
Chubbs?
don't know. I
Is
don't know.
Travis Kelsey the new Happy Gilmore?
Do you think the
So,
sequel once again will be underwhelming compared to the original?
uh, well, first of all, how dare you? Because Happy Gilmore is arguably Adam Sandler's best movie ever.
No, that's why I
So,
said the sequel will be underwhelming compared to the original.
oh, I thought you said it's gonna be as underwhelming as the first one. I'm like, how dare you?
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be underwhelming. Sequels are always underwhelming unless it's The Godfather. Like it's just Godfather 2 was better than the first one, but I just no. Let's stop this. Let's stop. Okay, all right, I get
How
it.
long has it been? Like 20 years since the first one, and they still want to bring that back? And
It's been
kudos to Adam
it's been
Sandler.
30 years. 30.
Damn.
He's fat
Wow.
enough to be Chubbs. He needs to be Chubbs. Like it's just if it doesn't open up with him, like just I don't know, randomly going to a Subway, like if it doesn't open up with him, for like getting a free sandwich for life from Subway, then I don't want to watch it. Okay, I want no part in this. All right.
Yeah, you know what? Your feelings are exactly the way I would. My feelings were when I heard. I'm like, oh, Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out. Huh, interesting. And that was the end of my thought train on that topic.
Yeah,
So that does it. That
yeah.
does it for Manny's 3 of your fix of 6. JB, take it away.
We are going to go with JB's number 3 fix of 6. And it's a tale of two franchises. One who is actually honestly proactively trying to make their franchise better, and the other one who will always be stuck in the rut and have no idea what they're doing. The Mariners fired Scott Service. Now, while this brings me a little bit of sadness because I grew up watching Scott Service play baseball, I loved watching the man play. I think he is one of the greatest managers this side of Lou Piniella to ever manage the Mariners. Um, it makes sense that they would go out and they would fire him because they are slumping bad. Over the course of the last 6 weeks, they went
Yeah,
from
since
a
June.
10 game lead in the AL West to trailing Houston, I think, by 3 or 4 games. That's not
Yep.
good. That's not good.
No.
And so, while it sucks to have changeover, let's move on. Let's try to find a fresh voice in that clubhouse. Let's
Yeah.
juxtapose that with a team that's just south of them, essentially, in the Los Angeles Angels. What on earth has given anybody any confidence that Perry Manesian, the GM of the Angels, has done anything to deserve a contract extension? This dude has been the GM for 4 years. They have had 3 different managers, and their farm system is just the worst. I get it. They have a pitcher and they have an infielder. Now, all of a sudden, in the top 100 of baseball prospects, but they're still ranked 29th. They have been dead last in baseball and prospect rankings. They have shown nothing on the field that shows any sort of desire or commitment to be better. What? Why? And I get it. They're trying to have consistency within the organization. You know what? I don't want consistently losing. That's what I don't like as a fan. So I don't know why you're trying to bring this on me. You are treating the entire Angels fandom like Ricky Bobby. Okay, you are putting a curse on Ricky Bobby. Okay, don't be doing that. I don't understand this. JB's number 2 fix of 6. You can tell fall is coming because the Mets will always Met. One day, Monday is a great day. Francisco Alvarez hits a game-winning walk-off homer for the Mets and loses his ever-loving mind like he's never been here before. Okay, cool. Tuesday night, they're already losing, yet they play some of. I coach a little league team. That defense that the Mets portrayed and just put on display on Tuesday night is so unspeakably bad. It brings such joy to my face because that tells me fall is approaching because the Mets are metting. And then we get to Wednesday night, and Jesse Henry Winkler Winker this hits a walk off and forgets that he's ever hit a homer in his life and loses his ever loving mind. Dude, get a grip. Act like you've been here before. What is your problem? Act like a grown man who's been a grown man for some grown man period of time. And JB's number 1 fix of 6, the most exciting time of this season, one of, is the World Baseball Classic has released its baseball pool for 2026. And I got to tell you, I'm here for it. I plan to be at one of these games next year, whether it be Puerto Rico, whether it be Miami, whether it be Houston. I will go to all of them. I will change the date on the calendar to trick my wife to think that it is our anniversary and we have to go to Puerto Rico. This is how committed I am, okay? I will do this, and I will do this for the sake of baseball. I cannot wait to see the World Baseball Classic come back. The last one was awesome. It had so much drama, so much action. It was the best WBC that we've had, and I can't wait for this next one because the talent pool in baseball and all around the world, internationally, nationally, only gets better every single year. And that is JB and Manny's fix of 6.
There you have it, folks. That is your weekly fix of 6, where we randomly decide what we want to talk about in short spurts. You're welcome. Your favorite segment has come to an end once again.
You're welcome, world.
JB, how was your drink once again? Was it good? Was it tasteful?
It's good. I'm on my second 2 fingers. So, yep.
Yeah.
This is unlike a prostate exam. Okay, I don't want more fingers. Okay, with that, I want more fingers with my scotch. That's what I want. Manny, how was yours?
Oh, I am also on my second one finger. First two
Nice.
fingers, second one finger, which is more tolerable with whatever metaphor you want to give. But it was good. This is honestly, I have to say, this bottle. There is a second bottle that I have to place on my top favorites of sipping bottles. This is probably tied up there in the top three. My R&R rich and I forget what the second R stands for, but this one's up there. It's been very enjoyable. It My second glass was once again neat and it was very palatable.
Nice.
No fire to my breath. No
Yeah.
deep breaths to wash it down. It's good. It's good.
Good.
Your cigar stick. Your how
Uh,
did that go for you?
it's one of my go-tos. A Nika Rustica. It's a Drew Estates. It's a Connecticut broadleaf. Easy smoke. It's inexpensive. This was the I believe this. I can't remember which one this was, but this was the $8 stick. But it's
Hmm.
good. It's easy. And if I put it down, I don't mind lighting it back up a little bit later and finish it. So it's a good one.
You didn't seem like you had to turn it on that many times, but it is a very thick stick.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing, so Drew Estates makes these Nikas. Drew Estates is my favorite cigar brand or a cigar company, and
Hmm.
but the issue with most of their sticks is they are rolled so tightly, and
Yeah.
so it's really hard to get a drag. So, it's I don't know, and I like the abuse, so I will continue to come to these, and I will continue to smoke them. Yeah.
Very good. Well, that wraps up another episode of Box Scores and Bourbon. As you have may or may not have noticed, folks, we are talking more and more about football. We're taking a very small break from baseball talk just to really bring up the attention that football has coming up because we have college football kicking off this week. We have NFL football 2 weeks away. We have our fantasy football league that we're still recruiting for to make a long
Time is
term.
running out. It's
Yes,
running out.
you have 2 weeks to join our league. The more the merrier, the more challenging it will be. And hopefully, we can build this to be a very
Yep.
tenured league for the box scores and
Yeah.
bourbons fandom.
We want to keep this
So,
going forever.
yes, but us putting a break on the baseball talk does not mean we're done talking about baseball. We just want to make sure we give football the attention it deserves as the season kicks off. But I'll have you know, once the season kicks off, baseball will be in its prime. The push to the pennants will be in its meat and potatoes portion of it.
Yes, it will
October
be.
is right around the corner, and we can't wait. So
Yep.
keep tuning in, keep commenting, keep letting us know what you want us to talk about. Give us your thoughts on our Mount Rushmores once again. Give us your predictions on how you think the baseball season is going to finish up, who you think the division winners are going to win, or who the division winners are going to be, who's going to win the World Series, and we will talk about it on our next episodes once baseball has its
Yeah.
earned time and attention in the next couple of episodes. JB, final thoughts?
Yeah, just the caveat that the more you guys respond to us on TikTok, the more you interact with us across all the platforms, the more we will include your questions, your comments. I've already done it before. I've already included all the trolling.
Yeah,
Give us more. Give us some of your give us something you want to hear about. You hear us talk about all the sports. Give us a team you want us to delve more into. Give us
yeah,
a storyline that you want
yep.
us to talk more about. Please share. Yeah, don't be shy. Yeah,
If you
TikTok.
feel like we're not talking
Yeah,
about a sport or a team enough for what they have going on, for example, Cleveland, the Guardians, we understand we haven't given Cleveland too much attention, but if you feel there's another team that you feel like we is deserving of our attention, let us know. We have had very heated discussions on Instagram, TikTok, BSB Sports 24. We have tons of content on Spotify and YouTube. So contribute, let us know your
yeah.
thoughts, give us your topics, and we will see you on the other side, everyone. Cheers. Until next time.
Stay thirsty, folks.